Yo, how's it going, guys? A lot of you guys know my channel as a channel that speaks about entrepreneurship, which is what I do. And I love speaking about entrepreneurship and business and sales and marketing and hiring and firing and all that good stuff. But I want to talk to you today just about finance and money in general. And I want to tell you a story of how not to spend your first bit of money you make. Now, again, you guys know me as an entrepreneur nowadays, but I want to rewind to about 2019, 2020. I'm 18, 19 at the time. And I was working as a laborer in the Auckland Viaduct in Auckland, New Zealand. If you guys know Auckland, you know that the red and black Māori pattern designs on the Auckland Viaduct waterfront, they didn't always used to be there. What used to be there was yellow, orange, blue, green, and white designs up and down the footpath. Maybe I'll include an image right here of what it used to look like, and I'll include an image now of what it currently looks like. Big difference, right? So my first ever real full-time job with full-time hours, working like a proper worker in a capitalistic society, was this job. I was laboring for a company called, I'm actually not going to tell you the name of the company because I don't want to, but I was laboring for a guy, just know that. Now, I've told you guys this before, but I was earning 20 New Zealand dollars an hour. $20 an hour, okay? Not exactly life-changing money, but that's good money for a young kid, 18, 19 years old. Cool. Now, around this time is when I started getting into investing. I actually take that back. I was 19 turning 20, so this is in 2020. Forget everything I just said. This is in 2020. I'm 19 turning 20. Okay, cool. Now, this is when I just first started getting into investing because COVID had just happened, right? Happening. So this is March, April, May, June, I started this job. June 2020, I started this job. Remember that. Now, I was just getting into investing and I started investing in shares. I started on Sharesies, which is a investing platform here in New Zealand. Cool. And this truck kept driving past my house during COVID. A main freight truck. Main freight. A lot of you guys will know that if you're in, I think it's a global company, so you'll know it if you live in a big city. But main freight trucks kept driving past. And I was asking my mum and dad, like, why do they get to keep driving past? My mum and dad said, because they're delivering a lot of consumable goods. I was like, okay, so if they're still operating, they're still making money. Interesting. I looked at their stock price, and I think their stock price was around like $20, if I remember correctly. It was around the $20 mark. It might have been more, might have been less, but it was decently cheap. It was cheap. It was cheap enough for me to be like, okay, I could buy one. I could buy a few of them. Okay, cool. So every week after I get my paycheck, which sometimes would be $500 because our hours are a bit fluctuated, and sometimes it would be $800 because we'd be working really hard. I'd get the paycheck and I was living at home with my mum and dad. I'd immediately invest the whole paycheck. And for probably, I don't even know, probably about 6 months or 7 months, every paycheck, every single dollar, literally every dollar, went into Sharesies. Every single dollar. I kept like $20 to get one meal, like takeaway meal a week. But I lived with my parents. I was not paying rent with them. Thank you to my parents for that. I was not paying for food. I wasn't paying for. I didn't have a car, right? My buddy would drop me to and from work. It was pretty easy, right? I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty easy. Anyway, I'm investing a bunch of money into Mainframe, and I got some crazy returns. So in 1 year, in 12 months, I had a 99% return rate, or 98 or something like that. In stocks, that's unheard of. For one private company to have almost 100% return rate in 1 year is crazy, considering the S&P 500 is an annual return rate of, I think, 8%. Almost 100% is, that's ridiculous. So I was feeling like the fucking man. I was like, let's go. And then around this time is my essentially first time getting into this crazy thing called crypto. You guys might have heard of it. Now, I was getting into crypto and I bought Bitcoin and I bought Ethereum, but Bitcoin was way too much. It was, I don't even remember how much it was, but I didn't have enough, right? I did not have enough. Long story short, I ended up cashing out my main freight shares, of which I pretty much doubled my money. I had about $25,000 New Zealand there. So I was like, okay, cool, let's go. I'm the man. So I put in about, 12,500. I essentially doubled my money in a year. And then had, about 25 grand in share in cash. And I was like, let's go. I'm going to buy some crypto. And I bought Ethereum. Okay. And around this time, Ethereum was, I don't remember exactly how much, but it was, I'm pretty sure, less than 1,000 New Zealand dollars. And I was like, okay, I've watched this video, I've watched that video. It looks like it could go up. Let me invest. And I had 10 Ethereum. 10 Ethereum. I was 19. I think I was 19. Oh, at this time I was probably 20. By the way, before I was, 6 months before this, I had $0. Okay? Anyway, continuing on. I bought 10 Ethereum. And what I did was just hold on to it. And Ethereum kept rising every day. And I'd come to work and I turned to my bro, a guy I worked with, who I'm still good friends with to this day. And I was like, bro, we just worked for 5 hours for $20 an hour. We just made $100. We're going to get taxed. We're going to make fuck all from this, like $70. Look at my phone. Look at my Exodus. I just made $900 today from doing fuck all. Okay? My Ethereum's just gone up. And he was like, no, you're lying. I'm like, I'm not lying, bro. And I'd come in every few days. I'd be like, bro, I'm up 2K. Bro, I'm up 5K. Bro, I'm up 6.5K. And he was just like, no, you're taking the piss. And I was like, I'm not. Look at this. And I showed him. And I was like, I got 10 of these. He was like, what? No, what? And I was like, yes, I'm telling you, bro. Anyway, I was like, okay. So I know I can invest. I'm essentially Warren Buffett. And then I was looking around, and that's when I first started getting into kind of the idea of entrepreneurship, because I was thinking, $20 an hour, I can't do this for the rest of my life. But you know what? Investing's going so good right now, I'm not going to stop. So I did it. I kept investing, and my 10 Ethereum, this is where I went wrong. And this is why I've titled the video what I've titled the video. But I exchanged those 10 Ethereum, which, by the way, while I was collecting those 10, after I got those 10, I got 3 more Ethereum. So total I had 13 ETH. I know this because I got my OpenSea report at the end of the year, which I'm about to explain to you. And it told me how much I spent when it comes to NFTs and gas fees. And it was over 13 ETH. Oh, rest in peace to those ETH. But anyway, so I had 13 ETH, right? I'm balling. I'm feeling like the man. I think ETH at this time was like, I don't even know, probably like, let me tell you what it was around this time, actually. Let me Google this. Because I don't want to be getting this wrong, but I had a lot of ETH. I know that. One second, boys. Yeah. So this is crazy. ETH was around $4,000 US dollars. So I had, let me just do some quick math here. Cool. So I had 52,000 American dollars, which is which is 90,000 New Zealand dollars. Okay, cool. So pretty much from being poor, I had no money. About 1 year later, I had almost 100K in ETH. And I was like, okay, I'm a genius. I'm Warren Buffett. Fuck everyone. Moving on. This is where NFTs come into it. There was this thing called the Bored Ape Yacht Club. I'm sure you know about it. Very valuable NFT, very valuable project. One of pretty much the only 2 that have stayed around since the whole NFT, rise and crash. The Bored Ape Yacht Club, the other one being CryptoPunks, neither of which I got. Anyway, I got into a few of them. But the one that really bent me over with no Vaseline, no Diddy, was Only One Force. Now, you can go on the blockchain and look for this yourself. I FOMO'd in literally one day to Only One Force. Now, I bought a NFT of a Japanese-looking girl, looked like a bloody anime character, and I was just like, well, yesterday this was worth 2 ETH, and now I've woken up and it's worth 5 ETH. That means if I buy it today and tomorrow I sell it, it's going to be worth 12 ETH. I'm gonna double my money real quick, easy. And I bought the top. And if you look on OpenSea right now, you can see where I bought the top, and it went like this until today. And now that same thing that I pretty much spent, I don't know, I think it was about 30,000 New Zealand dollars on, it's worthless now. And the other 8 Ethereum, that was 5.5 Ethereum. The other 7.5 Ethereum, I just spent that on other NFTs as well. And I was just like, oh my God. I still have all of them. I have all the NFTs. 1 ETH here, 1.5 ETH here, half an ETH here, 0.25 ETH times 10 here. It wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. So I have like a $90,000 ETH OpenSea wallet that's worth zero, nada. Why do I say all this? I say that to say this. Be careful with your money. Now, I don't mean hoard your money for the rest of eternity, unless that's what you want to do. But what I mean is don't FOMO into things. I'll relate this back to entrepreneurship because I see so many people, and you know what? I kind of did this for a very short amount of time, but I see a lot of people switching from business model to business model to business model. One day they have a car washing business. The next day they have a window cleaning business. Next day they want to try drop shipping and they drop ship a lamp. Next day they want to try drop shipping, but instead of a lamp, they're going to sell a dog toy. The next thing is a car accessory. The next thing, they don't even want to do drop shipping. They want to do Forex trading. Oh, forget Forex. They want to do crypto future trading. Oh, then they don't want to do that. They want to have a marketing agency. And then they want to start a YouTube automation channel. And then they want to do this and want to do that and want to do this. And they eventually do nothing. They do a week of this, a week of that, a week of this, a week of that, and then give up entrepreneurship, back to the 9 to 5, right? That's the reality for a bunch of entrepreneurs. And if it wasn't for this mistake that I had in the NFT space, that might have been me as well, even though I've dibbled and dabbled in dropshipping. Don't get me wrong. I know a little bit about it. Now, what that taught me is don't FOMO, okay? Stick to one thing, learn it inside and out, and become an expert on it. Now, I've done that with entrepreneurship now, and I've also done that with just my personal finance and money. I've spent a bunch of money, okay? From that point onwards, of course. I spent so much money on so many things, but it's never out of randomness, okay? Even if it looks like it's out of randomness, it's not. It's always got thought behind it. There's always pros and cons weighing up. What's the worst that can happen here? What do I think is going to happen here, realistically? And what's the best that can happen here? That's the same with anything. That's the same on a flight to Bali and a $10,000 holiday to Bali. That's the same with a flight to Hong Kong to pick up a $10,000 diamond watch, a Frank Mueller Vanguard. That's the same for flying to London, England on 2 days' notice and picking up a $30,000 diamond Rolex. 25 carats, by the way, VS1 box papers, if you want to hit me up. That's the same with this. I don't know if you can see this. Don't think this came out of nowhere. This has been the pipeline for a very long time. That's a white gold day-date. I've also got a Batman. I've got a root beer. I've got a few. And I bought a watch for my brother from Japan, but I had to pay a big tax on import. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Every decision should be calculated. When you're hiring team members for your company, it should be calculated. You shouldn't just go spending willy-nilly. They should either save you time, which is more valuable than money, or make you more money, right? You're not just hiring team members to say, oh, I've hired some people, look at me, big balls. No, you're hiring for a certain purpose, for a reason. If you don't need a hire, you don't hire, okay? If you don't, need this, you don't buy it, right? There's a purpose behind me buying these things, right? And as shallow as it is, a lot of these material things are great social proof, right? For my birthday, I rented some cars for my birthday. For my holiday, when I went to Gold Coast earlier this year, I rented some cars in that holiday, right? You stay in nice Airbnbs. You have a lot of fun. You spend money on a big dinner for social proof and, social proof in your friend group as well. Who are you known as? These are the important things. And they're all first world, don't get me wrong. They're all very first world things. But you need to know where your dollars are going, okay? There's only two main resources we have, is time and currency, okay? Those are the two main things, time and currency. So that's your attention, your effort, where your focus is, where you're spending your time, and your money, If you're spending money on things that are not only wasting your money in terms of you're not going to get a positive return in terms of money, but they're also taking away your time. So you're using one resource, money, to get rid of more money, right? Money you're not going to get back, and time you're not going to get back. Goodness gracious me, that's not ideal. On the other side of things, if you buy a program that teaches you about advertising, and then you spend some money on advertising in a hope to get clients and, of course, make a profit for you and your business, that is a wise investment. I've spent so much on watches, but I've also spent so much on advertising. So much on advertising. And even right now, I'm still spending on advertising. And even right now, I'm spending so much on hiring team members, right? So, again, I take it back to the point is, do not FOMO into things. Just because one person you see on Instagram, you watch a reel saying, this is a new untapped market. You should join this right now. Don't miss this. This is the best thing since Bitcoin's been at $100. You need to buy right now. You don't need to buy right now. That's just a person trying to FOMO you into it. The same way I FOMOed into an NFT collection. Not one, but like 15 times, right? In like 3 days. Not ideal. So essentially, this is the story of how I went from being broke as fuck to having, almost 100k New Zealand dollars, essentially in a bank account, right? In an ETH account that I could have cashed out at any point. And then losing all of that, starting from scratch. I didn't even tell you that I worked my sales job, but starting back from scratch, working a sales job, making great commission there, making a lot of money, but then realizing that my time was being massively compromised there. Want a bit of freedom, quit that job, entrepreneurship, here I come. And 3 years later, here we are. Things are looking good and things are looking hopeful. So I hope you took a bit of value out of this. And I know this was a little bit all over the place, but if you are a younger person watching this, 18 years old or so, I've actually made a video for the 3 pieces of advice I'd give my 18-year-old self. So if you want to watch that video, click here. It's a really, really good watch. I think it's my most viewed video. You're going to want to watch it, honestly. Really simple advice, but, if I was in your shoes, this is what I'd do. If you've already watched that one, no stress. I want you to follow my Instagram at HarperMaisie. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.